Whatever we put out there has to be joyful, has to give people that pause and to be able to reconnect with the magic of the moment.
For too long, we've been led to believe that only two types of people can have an extraordinary creative career: creative genius and people who hustle so hard that they're working all the time. Here on the Everyday Talent Podcast, we are shattering that myth. This podcast is built on one truth, which is every one of us can have an extraordinary creative career. The way to get there is not by sacrificing all of ourselves to our work, but rather embracing our authentic selves and carve out unique paths to a fulfilling and joyful creative life. Hello and welcome. My name is Betty. I'm a creative and a coach for creators. I've coached photographers, filmmakers, visual artists, arts consultants, and arts leaders to make intentional career shifts and build thriving independent practices. This podcast is for you if you're looking to cut through the noise of what you should be doing in your creative career and figure out what actually works and matters for you. Before we begin, I want to remind you to subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or your platform of choice. Leave us a rating and review and share this podcast on your social so that more amazing creatives out there can find out about this podcast and feel seen. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. We are now deep into the fall season now. How is the fall treating you? I know the fall is usually a very busy season for everyone. Projects get ramped up. And usually it's at this time that we need a little inspiration or joy to motivate us to keep going and to finish the year strong. And I thought I would bring a guest that represents so much about the joy of making art on the podcast. Her work is truly inspiring, and it's one of those unique art form that when someone looks at it, they immediately feel the affect that she and her partner are trying to create. I have on the podcast Emma López Hechem. She's the creative director and partner at Ava Animation and Visual Arts, a design studio specializing in large-scale digital art and animation. Together with her partner Pedro, Emma pioneered the field of architectural projection mapping for live events. Her installations have been shown in more than a dozen countries and have won awards such as the Amsterdam Light Festival International Mapping Competition. During the pandemic, she partnered with the City of Toronto to create public art initiatives that provided paid work for local artists. Amazing. She has also led workshops to teach projection mapping. So today on the episode, she's going to tell us a little bit more to understand what's the world of projection mapping, what is the craft, and also her experience of being an artist who has migrated multiple times from Canada to Mexico, from Mexico to Canada. So without further ado, let's get into this conversation with Emma. Welcome back to another episode of the Everyday Talent Podcast. So today we have a very special guest here that every time I see her work or videos of her work, my heart just starts singing with joy. I'm so honored to have you here, Emma.
Thank you so much, Betty. Thank you so much for the invitation. It means a lot also, and I love our conversation. So it's an honor for me.
Great. Yeah. Can you tell the audience a little bit of what you do?
Yes. Well, my name is Emma López. I'm a projection mapping designer, and I'm originally from Mexico. And
Great.
now I have a company with my partner here in Canada called Ava Animation and Visual Arts.
Yeah. So what you do is so cool, Emma. Projection mapping, it's one of my goals that one day I can see it in person. And I think for the audience who might not be familiar what projection mapping is and the work that you do, can you tell us a little bit what that is? And how did you get into what you do now?
Well, projection mapping is basically creating content that is custom made for a specific building or structure. It's animation, but you take into consideration the features of the architectural features of the building. So the final result is a series of optical illusions that transform the building like in front of your eyes. No, so it's mesmerizing to look at, and is very used in entertainment like attractions, in like festivals, everywhere where you want to like transform a public space. But it can also be indoors. So
It's
yeah, that's a
amazing.
little bit.
Yeah, you know, in preparation of this interview, I checked it out before, but I reviewed again like some of the work that you did before. One that was in a castle on in Japan, the old
Oh
era. Oh my god, that
yeah.
one I look at it like every time I watch it, I was like, oh, like it really transforms the architecture and creates a completely different like engagement for the people who know the architecture with that space. So,
yes.
how did you get into this profession?
Um, well, I started out as a graphic designer, so did my partner. But back in the day in Mexico, there was no like superior education that gave the a chance to go into animation or motion graphics professionally. No, so we had to look outside of Mexico, and we found a really good program here at Seneca College that had to do with visual effects
Hmm,
for TV and film, and it was the closest thing to what we wanted to do. That it was motion graphics, and the teachers were amazing. That they let us like do our own thing and explore and see how we could use our knowledge in design to create like all of these graphics. We ended up working for different TV studios in the city. Um but after a while, we went back to Mexico and started our own company about
hmm,
10 years ago, something like that. Um, but we found like the harsh reality that we needed to know someone like in Mexico. We needed to we had no network, no.
right.
So our work was great, but we didn't knew how to connect and how to reach out to those clients. And also, there were like two TV stations in Mexico that monopolized the whole like content production
Wow.
on that end. So we were faced like with this harsh reality of okay, either you work for like commercial work, like for TV ad agencies and things like that, or you start looking outside of Mexico again, no?
Yeah.
And there was this opportunity in the Middle East that they were looking for animators, and it's like we said, yes, we'd love to try it. They invite us over, and they told us, okay, it's projection mapping. We told them that we had no idea how to do that. He said, like, don't worry, we love your work, we'll teach you, no?
Mhm,
And back, this is 2000, 2011,
mhm.
something like that. There were no examples online. I think there were two
Okay.
of projection mapping. So it was an incredible challenge because we had to travel all the way over there. We had to work with a team, and no one knew how to approach this
Mhm,
because, like, not even the people that made the software or had the projectors knew how to technically design content to create these illusions. No, so in a way, like, we had to find our own path
mhm.
of how what works for us, what we think of, trial and error let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that we fell in love with the technique, and we realized that we needed to do this, no?
Mhm. What do you love about projection mapping?
I think that the ability that it has to transform everyday spaces into like unique experiences, but you really don't touch anything. You don't build a stage. You don't, like, basically just bring your projector, your cables, and the same building that people go by every day can become anything, no? And also depending on the artist, like it can so like it becomes a journey, no?
Mm,
Uh, and it's also that when it finishes, like, you have nothing. No,
Yeah.
like I have nothing to show for my work other than the pictures and the videos because it's impermanent. No, like even permanent
Yeah.
installations are at some point because projectors have a life. No, so yep.
There's something magical about that. That the
Exactly.
impermanentness. Yeah.
Exactly. Being in the moment and being there and having that experience, no?
Mm. One of the things that we talked about when we were connecting to prepare for this interview was the importance of having joy and sparking
Oof.
wonder and awe from people. Can you speak a little bit about that element of like creating joyful experiences because it's so I would say it's so obvious in your style. Yeah.
Yes, it's yeah, like we me and like my partner, we feel that like even the constant, bombarding of news and the anxiety and everything, like all the mental health situation left by COVID, everything, it's so overwhelming that you only hear like bad news all the time that we like honestly felt that okay, whatever we put out there has to be joyful, has to give people that pause and to be able to reconnect with the magic of the moment, no? Because I'm like a firm believer that you can create like your own reality, no? So it's I think it's uh something that we do consciously, like okay, what is the message, what is the feeling, what is the emotion that you are putting out there into the world. And and last week when we were like also chatting, like this situation came like into the discussion of how sometimes emotions like joy and happiness are like perceived lower in the scale of high art and all of that, no? But I feel that they are just as necessary, no? And they shouldn't be dismissed as just entertainment, something like that, because there's something that we really need from those experiences. Like otherwise, it becomes
Hmm.
hard, no, to keep going.
Yeah. Like you touch on so many great things there that like that point about sometimes joy is dismissed in the spectrum of like what we like what's the notion of what art is.
Yeah.
And it is so at like it's the same time of that your work is meant for public consumption, right? People coming to
Mhm.
see it. So how do you balance that, like that something have or uh not even balance, how do you like when you and your partner can like creating a piece of work, what are the priorities that you want to achieve or what kinds of like things that you want to create for people to feel in your work? Yeah.
Whenever possible, when we have the creative freedom of doing our own thing, because sometimes we do work for clients that want super specific things.
Right.
But
Hmm.
when we have the freedom to put our own perspective into the work, then yes, joy is a like a conscious decision. But the things that we try to include like in our work is that there's always this sense of awe and like mesmerizing visuals that we feel can be obtained by working like into the details and the work and the sound of the music and like the whole the thing as a whole.
Hmm.
It's like when you look at something and you feel the love that went into creating that piece, the attention to detail, the proportion of the shapes, the colors, like it works as a whole, and it can be like a collection of a series of different things, but you realize that everything was made with the intention of presenting the work in a way that the audience can feel the love and the hard work that went into it,
Yeah.
because everything is intentional. Like we don't use AI, we don't use like every single like even for example when we recreate 3D beadwork, no, we go in and one by one we made our designs and we like put specific colors in specific patterns. And that thing about going the extra mile and taking 3 4 days 1 week in one scene just to obtain that level of quality that is throughout the work. I think that's what the people see,
Yes.
and that's what it makes you like enjoy the experience, because you realize like this is not like just stock video. This is not, this is something that was custom made for you in this moment, and this is only playing today or 3 days or just this festival, no?
Yes. Yeah. The attention to like detail and like
Yeah.
really translates in your work. How long is the production cycle for one piece?
Usually, for example, if it's like a 3 minute piece, it will take us like a month and a half, something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
um I mean, we we have our shortcuts. We have a ton of things. Everything we do, like we made ourselves, the
Right.
characters, everything. We do have like tons
You've
and
built
tons
a
of
library of
folders.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We already have our own library created by ourselves, and we we
Yeah.
plagiarize ourselves to create more stuff. But
Yeah.
then again, this is things like, okay, I'm gonna reuse, let's say, like these flowers that I use in this scene, but now I'm gonna like reinterpret them in a different way, and I'm not gonna turn them like golden because this is the other team is different. So there we do have certain like
Yes.
shortcuts and things that we can do.
Yes.
But then again, it's because it matches our own style, is something that we already did. So sometimes we do save
Yeah.
time that
I
way.
I was just saying you say that it's shortcut, but for me as the audience,
Mhm.
it's like your trademark. Oh, I recognize that. Like that cute
Yeah,
cat or like that
yeah, the
color.
cat,
Yeah.
the cat.
The
Then
cat is
yeah.
in quite a bit of places. Anyway,
Yeah.
yes. So it's lovely.
Yeah.
Let's turn attention to your journey for a second. So in your self intro, you already like introduced to us that you migrated essentially twice
Yeah.
to come here, to come to Canada to Seneca to learn motion graphic, and then go back to 3 times, like
Like,
go back to
yeah.
Mexico, start there, and then go to Middle East, and then eventually come back here.
Yeah.
Uh, how was that?
Oh, it's heartbreaking every time, no?
Mm,
Because you achieve some kind of level of experience and or recognition by working like 5, 6, 10 years in a city. You have specific clients, and but when you move, like you lose that, no?
yes.
At some point, because you still like can work online with some clients and so on, but starting over, finding a new house, finding a new school for your kids if you have kids, um, building a new network, it can be heartbreaking, like it can be discouraging, especially like the first time when we were working here, we I was already working for entertainment. Pedro was working for other studios, making stuff for CBC, for MTV,
Right.
for Much Music, and leaving that and going to Mexico and realizing that I have to start all over again, no? And then,
Hmm.
and this is what also happens is that we are like super introverts, Pedro and me, and so it's we realized in Mexico that we had to like be like in front of the desk, like we cannot be hiding behind the computer. Like if we have to have our own company, we have to like step in front and start learning how to talk to people and how to reach out to clients and how to talk to the people who can pay for these kind of projects that are politicians, and that's like a whole different
Wow.
way of communicating, and how to get into how to get those opportunities, no?
Yes.
So the challenge for us is like, okay, I have no connections, I don't know how to get to these people, what can I do, no?
Mhm.
So we decided, like with blind faith and a lot of optimism, like, okay, let's make a portfolio that is so good that I don't have to speak to people that much.
Mhm.
No, and at the same time, like projectors, everything is expensive, no? Like setting up a project like that is not something that you can easily do.
Mhm.
So then participating in all these international festivals became a way of building a portfolio,
Right.
and then also learning, because in each country like the techniques were different. Back in the day there were no books, there was no way of learning, but we get to see how they do it in Japan, how they do it in Russia, how they do it in I don't know, in
Mhm.
Europe, and learning with each experience. And then uh, when you knock on the door and you have like all of these landmarks in your portfolio, like people perceive it in a different way. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
these two guys might not look like much, but their portfolio is amazing.
They've gone
So
everywhere in the world. Yeah.
yeah, so that's how we started getting our first projects in Mexico, no?
Mm.
And we were able to like have a like a I don't, like employees and like grow into a small like studio. But then when we
And
decided to come
come here.
back,
Yeah.
yeah, to come back to Canada, it was like yeah, it was hard because
You had a you were had a
yeah,
newborn at the time. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
just had like an 8-month baby. Sadly, the lawyer that I had that time messed up our visa application.
Oof.
So
My
even though
God.
we had the resources, we had the everything, because we already had Canadian experience, but he messed it up and we lost that. So I had to go back to study while
Mhm.
while working, while being a mom, while everything. And we were coming in Mexico from already having like big clients. We had a big permanent installation that was almost like $1 million
Wow.
project that we had
Mhm.
to buy the projectors and install them, supervise construction, whatnot. And then we come here with like high expectations, and we come to
Mhm.
to to start over, completely start over
Again, start over again.
again,
Yeah.
again. And but for us, going back to school was the absolute best thing that we could do. Like we didn't realize it looked
Mm.
and it felt horrible at the time,
Mhm.
because you and I think many artists also go through this. Like if I had this level of success in my country or internationally, like I come to Canada and I have to start from like from scratch, and nobody knows you, and like you start questioning yourself, and many people like don't keep going, no.
Mhm.
But now that we're seeing like in a retrospective, like I realized that it was the absolute best decision, because you start building like a reputation and your network from school, and then your teachers see that you are not like an average student, that you are
Mhm.
um, engaging on different levels, looking for opportunities, and they start giving you the first opportunities. Like our first actual like job here in Canada after coming back was directly to the university, and we make great relationships that then they acted as like they recommended us to other clients and so
Right.
on, and they started
Yeah.
the ball rolling. And now that I see it, like we wouldn't have the
Mhm.
network that we have now if we hadn't started from there, no.
Right. Like university
Eh,
served as like a first stop for you to make
yeah,
connections.
no,
Mhm.
it was hard, but it was worth it. And and I'm just gonna say it just in case anyone else relates to this. Coming from a country where things are harder, where everything that like you have to like fight for your like life or security or success or everything, like you are used to like really putting everything on the line on every single project, because that's the only way that you're gonna grow, no. But it's so much work. And then if the government changes, or if if there's like devaluation of the economical crash, or like all the
Yes.
things that can happen, And then when you come to Canada and you start from scratch, the benefits that you get are different because things are more stable here. Everything that you work for really will open doors, and you will get like recurring clients, and you will find more support opportunities. Like where I come from, there were no grants, no scholarships, no nothing. No.
Right.
So here they there are so many opportunities, and I think that the point is to don't get discouraged. Like you have to keep trying, and doing. Even if you don't see progress at the beginning, your work, since this is a more stable place, like
Hmm.
every work that you do will get you further and further every time.
Hmm. It actually
Yeah,
builds on like like one and other, like that you're building
yeah.
something. Yeah.
It doesn't crumble every 4 years when there's a change of government. And yeah,
Hmm.
right now every people that you work here in Canada will move to other companies and will call you back if they had a good experience with you, and you start building this network. So it's important to not get discouraged, like to keep doing and doing and doing
Hmm.
stuff.
Thank you for that call out to people who might be like newcomers or migrating
Hmm.
to another country. They like you said, like the beginning home can be quite difficult and get
Yeah,
feel like like no one knows you, no one knows your work.
yeah.
In those difficult period, like how do you and your partner like stay motivated?
um I think one of the like main like course in our relationship is like our kids, and like making them like laugh and that kind of thing. So uh, that's we realized that if we make things that were joyful, like you like reflect back on you and your state of mind. So if even if we had like smaller projects, like we would like kind of always incorporate them, and when we see like the positive reaction is like, oh mom, this is so funny, this is amazing, I love this cat, I love these colors, I love, then you get like the positive feedback that you would I think maybe like since they're closer to you, it has like more of a sentimental value.
Yes.
But for us, I think it's more important that our kids say that they like it than the client or anyone else.
Your
um
kid is the most important audience. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If like honestly, if we can
Yes.
keep those kids engaged for a 5 minute thing, then you realize it's like okay, it's working. If it keeps a 6 year old, attention with a short attention span, if you keep it like engaged in the project, then you realize that okay, this is everyone else can stay engaged and this is working, no? But yeah, I think that in those moments when you can do things for yourself and for your own, I mean, we cannot give up. Like we are always in the hardest moments, like we look towards to them and we want to give them like the best possible future. This is also why we emigrated, to give them like here in Canada, they can be whatever they want to be. They can be safe. They can um have many other options that we didn't have like back where we come from. So we realize that even if it's hard, we keep going. No.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yep,
Have
yep.
you have you ever thought about switching career?
Yes, all the time. But
Hmm.
uh, the thing is that I think we would be happy doing anything that's creative. I
Hmm.
think, I mean, because we, in a way, we are kind of switching all the time, because we used to do design, no, and then
Right.
motion
That's
graphics
true.
and packages for TV,
Hmm.
and then this motion graphic stuff. But we also have done like short films
Yeah.
for kids, and I mean, like if we come with an idea for example, like a TV series or something like that, that would be that includes animation, things like that. Like I mean, we are not married to this, like, at all. So as long as it's something that we enjoy doing together, and that fulfill us like in this way, I think we are open to switching to anything.
I only asked that because like the in the career development that you have, your career journey, and sometimes like to be honest, even I have like I think many people who are creative would be like, what if I just don't do this? That thought
Yeah,
comes in.
but that's valid.
Mhm.
That's valid. And also because, well, I know that I have, for example, ADHD,
Mm.
and it's hard to keep motivated doing the same thing over and over. You have to find different ways to trick you into doing the things that you have to do, no? And but as long as it's something that you love to do, like, you can continue forever, no? So that's, it's kind of the same feel that you shouldn't, like, you only have one life, no? So
Yeah.
you shouldn't, yeah, like, you should spend your time in things that you love to do, no? Or at least, if you cannot switch right now, work towards it, no? Like, even the deadlines that look like farthest away
Mhm.
arrive at some point. So you can start working now into switching into what you really want to do and what really makes you happy. But I think we all live under the illusion that we have a ton of time to do things, and we don't.
Right. We don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that because what I hear is that you really find that balance between finding something that you love to do, keeps you motivated and not bored, and
And
also
makes
like
money.
creating, yeah, creating
Yeah.
like a future for your family and yourself, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If there's like audience listen to this and they're like, I am curious about projection mapping too. What is like the career path for people, or is there a path at all for people to get into it?
I mean, the technical side is easy to learn, um, because basically what you're doing is taking any video or photo and distorting it to fit the building. What you do, like, software wise, is uh, basically you will move nodes into place to
Mm,
fit the specific areas of the building,
gotcha.
and map it, no, and warp it. But the hardest part is the content creation for me.
Mm,
I think that if you have a background in painting, animation, anything that is visual, that's like video editing, anything that is visual, it's gonna be easier because you
easier,
already
yeah.
have like that mindset, no? And I really do encourage people from all different backgrounds to try it, because for example, one of the things that got us through the pandemic, that when there were no events, was this collaboration that we did with the city of Toronto and OCAD, was Big RTO,
Hmm.
a project where we use our knowledge in projection mapping to help uh, create paid opportunities for other artists. And we would encourage artists from, like, photography, sculpture, any media, to try projection. We would either give them like the canvas of the building, like as a Photoshop file that they could work on, adapt their work, or they would give their work to us and we would help them adapt it to the building,
Wow.
so that they could see how their work could be perceived and transformed into, like, a explore this new media, right?
Yes.
So that's what I feel, that you don't have to have like a specific background. As long as it's visual, you can learn the technical
And adapt, yeah.
and
And
adapt. Yeah, yeah,
mhm.
yeah. Because the same principle that you do with a small projector and the software is basically the same principle applied to a larger projector in a larger building, no?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, if people were to want to check out your work or reach out to
Mm-hmm.
you or connect with you, where should they find you?
Well, we have our webpage. The company is called Ava Animation and Visual Arts. Our webpage is is different. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. I did a ton of years ago. It's www.adainmotion.com,
Mhm.
and that's our handle also for Instagram.
Thank you so much for sharing with us your story, Emma. It's just great to hear someone that is like doing amazing work and also have such a rich experience in your life and your career journey.
Thank you so much, Betty. It means a lot, and if any of the things that we have been through like help anyone else, I just inspire them to keep going, then like it's amazing. Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Emma. And I also hope that you can check out her work on her website. Just the moment that you click on any video that shows her projection mapping work, it gives you an instantaneous moment of joy. I promise you. I really like, it's my personal goal one day to see her work in person. And I just know that it's going to be fantastic. If you like what you heard today, please continue to subscribe and follow our podcast on any podcast platform of your choice, or follow us on the YouTube channel. Also, please share this podcast with your creative friends. We all know how important it is to get inspiration and find resonance on our creative path. So, this podcast is really to hold space for us to have more of this kind of conversation so that we can support and uplift each other. Also, my one-on-one coaching program is open. I've coached creatives of all kinds to grow their practice and career with intentionality. I have 2 one-on-one programs tailored to support either independent artists and creative or mid-career creators who are looking for a shift. So check out those programs on my website and book a free consultation call. May we all grow our creative practice with intentionality. I see you on the next episode.